What if XP in Minecraft worked more like Ki from Dragon Ball? I used 96 command blocks to make that happen. As you gain Ki, your power level grows stronger. At certain benchmarks, you unlock powerful transformations and abilities right out of the anime. But be careful. Using your Ki abilities costs you Ki. Your levels drop every time you use them. Use too much and you can lose more than you bargained for. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first command block of the day. This is going to be the foundation of our Ki system, where I have a repeating, always active command block, and it has a 10-tick delay. The command is simply XP 1 at A, which means that every player, and this is going to be twice per second, gets 1 experience point. So about every second, you get 2 XP. This is the starting level that you'll get experience, and that will increase later on. As you get closer to level 20, this is when things finally get interesting. At level 20, you get your first transformation. As you see on the side of my screen, I have a few different status effects. I have more damage, I have more defense, and I have more speed. I also get the ability to fly in survival mode, and I get an item called Ki Blast. The item Ki Blast literally lets me use Ki Blasts. And as you've seen, it comes with a very faint whitish aura. Let's see how that starts. I have a repeating, always active command block. We're going to have a 3-tick delay. What I'm doing is I'm executing as any player that's above level 20, but below level 49. And then I'm running effects, and I'm giving them strength 2 once per second. Here, chain conditional, always active. Again, we're executing as any player between level 20 and level 49. This time we're giving them resistance 1. Chain conditional, always active. Very same setup, this time we're doing speed. And then the last one we have here, and this one we're executing as, again, any player that's above level 20 but below level 49. At the location, we're running particle. I'm using Minecraft Magnesium Salts Emitter. That's the grayish-white particle effect you just saw. Beyond status effects, you also get the Ki Blast ability. So let's take a look at that. Our first command block, going to be repeating, always active. And on this one here, we're going to have a 2-tick delay. We're going to do replace item, entity, any player whose level is at least level 20, as long as they don't have the tag blast. Then slot.hotbar6, which is going to be not the end, not the one right before the end, but the one right before that. And we're going to do keep gas tier 1. So this is going to put a gas tier there as long as that space is available. And then I have chain unconditional always active attached to that. What I'm doing is I'm going to execute as any player, at least level 20, who has that gassed tier item in their main hand, which means they're holding it, it's equipped. Then we're going to run title on the action bar, and it's going to say Ki Blast. So this will let you know when you're holding the Ki Blast item. And then here, repeating always active, we're executing as any player at least level 20 at their location. If the entity gassed tier within 2 blocks, then we're going to run tag at s at blast. So this is going to check for when you drop the gas tier. If it's within 2 blocks of you, which should really only occur when you are dropping the item, it's going to give you blast. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're going to execute at any player who has the blast tag. Then we're going to run kill, and we're going to kill that gas tier that's within a few blocks of us. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're going to take away 5 levels from who has the tag blast. This is going to be the Ki cost. And then here, chain conditional always active. Only once we pay that cost, we're then going to execute as the player with the blast tag at the location. Unless an entity named Blast exists within 90 blocks, we're going to summon an armor stand named Blast. Blast is going to be the Ki Blast. and this right here puts it directly behind you. I'm trying to avoid the armor stand appearing on your screen, but doing these invisible arm stand builds, sometimes they still pop up. I'm just trying to do my best to minimize that. And then here, repeating, always active. This time we have no delay. What we're going to do is we're going to execute as the entity named Blast, which is the armor stand. It's going to be rotated as the player with the tag Blast. So we're executing as the armor stand at the armor stand, rotated as us. Then we're going to run teleport, and I'm doing caret, caret, caret 3, facing caret, caret, caret 6. Now what this is doing is this is going to teleport that armor stand forward based on the direction we are viewing. And then here, chain conditional always active. This is giving the armor stand invisibility. That's the entity named Blast. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're executing at the entity named Blast, so that's the armor stand, but we're running particle. Minecraft Dragon Destroy block tilde tilde 1 tilde. This was that cool key blast particle effect you saw earlier when I fired it. And then here, chain conditional always active. I'm going to execute as the armor stands at its location, and I'm going to run damage. Any entity that's not the armor stand, that's not us with the blast tag, that's not an experience orb, that's not an item, that's not the armor stand's named blast, that's within a couple blocks, they will take 10 damage. It is an entity attack, and they're going to know that it was you, the closest player with the blast tag, that did the entity attack. And then here, repeating, always active, no delay. We're going to execute as the player with the blast tag at a location, and we're going to run kill. If the armor stands named Blast gets more than 90 blocks away, we're going to kill it. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're going to tag at the location of the, we're going to use tag for the player with the blast tag, and then we're going to remove the blast tag. That will get you the item back, because remember at the beginning of this, it didn't work if you had the tag Blast. So now you'll get the Key Blast item back as long as you have enough experience still. And then here, repeating always active, no delay. We're going to execute at the entity named Blast, so that's the armor stand, and we'll run play sound. I'm doing conduit.activate at AR equals 20. This is going to be the Key Blast sound that plays when you fire it. And then here, repeating always active, 20 tick delay here. And we're going to execute as any player who has a level of at least 20. The tag is Blast, and then has the gas tier item and their quantity of 0, so they don't have that item. Unless the entity with the name Blast, which is the armor stand, exists within 90 blocks, it's going to run tag at S remove Blast. So this is just a failsafe. This is making sure that the armor stand named Blast is no longer in the world, and you haven't gotten that item back, and make sure that you don't have the Blast tag so that you will get that item back. It's just a failsafe. It runs once a second to make sure that everything is in order. And then the last part at level 20 is the flight. So I have a repeating command block up here, no delay. What I'm doing is I'm doing ability at A so that's any player with at least a level of 20 that doesn't have the flight tag. And then I'm going to do may fly true. And then here, chain conditional always active, tag any player that doesn't have the tag flight that is at least level 20, and we're going to give them the flight tag. So they'll be able to fly, and they'll get that tag flight. And now here, this one is chain unconditional always active. If a player is below level 19 and they have the tag flight, they're going to lose the ability to fly. And then chains to that, chain conditional always active, will then take the tag flight away from the player who's below level 20. So if you fall below the points where you got the transformation ability, you will not be able to use them again until your XP or your key builds back up over that point. Now, right away, even if you already did the command block output game rule, you'll notice that the Mayfly ability is still putting text all over your screen. So let's take a second. The first thing you want to do if you haven't is do game rule, command block output false. that's actually going to be a separate word, sorry. And that'll take care of a lot of the command block feedback from popping up on your screen. But sometimes you also need to do game rule send command feedback false. This is going to turn off the extra feedback. So when you teleport, it will no longer let you know that you're teleporting. It's not going to let you know if you gain the ability to fly or lose it. But also, your command blocks may not appropriately fill in the output box down below. Sometimes it's fine, but sometimes if you do type in that command, it turns all of these off. So double check. If you want those on, you can click them back on. It's really not a big deal, but just something to be aware of. In past versions, that was very common. At level 50, you gain access to the legendary Super Saiyan form. You can see on the right side of the screen, as well as above your hotbar, that now you're going to get new status effects, and we're also going to increase the effects that you already have. You also gain a new ability, the Kamehameha wave. Your white and gray aura has also now been replaced by yellow and gold. Alright, let's take a look at the Super Saiyan form. So our first one here is a repeating, always active command block. No delay. We're going to execute as any player that's above level 50, but below level 74. And we're going to give them Strength 3. This time, we're using false because one of the particle effects that gives us our Super Saiyan aura is the Strength aura. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute again as any player above 50, but below 74. This time, they get Resistance 2. Chain conditional, always active. Again, above 50, below 74. This time, we're going to give them Speed 2. Chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as any player above 50, below 74. We're going to give them Jump Boost 2. Again, this one will be false. Between this and the Strength aura, that will be the yellow and gold particles that you see. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as any player above 50, below 74. Health Boost 4. This gives us the extra row of parts. And then here, repeating, always active. XP 1 at a level, or LM equals 50. So you'll get another additional 1 XP twice per second as long as you're at least level 50. So at Super Saiyan, the rate of experience or ki that you gain increases. You also get access to the Kamehameha. So we have a repeating, always active command block. This one has a delay of 2. Like the first one, we're going to do replace item entity, any player who's at least level 50 who doesn't have the tag wave. This time in slot.hotbar 7, right next to the gas tier, you'll get a diamond. And then set up just like the last one, chain unconditional, always active. If you are a player who's at least level 50 and you're holding the diamond in your main hand, it's then going to run title on your action bar and it's going to say Kamehameha wave. However, this time, I'm using the section symbol and a B to make it this nice cyan color. Here, repeating, unconditional, always active, no delay. We're going to execute as any player at least level 50 at their location if the entity named diamond r equals 2 run tag add wave. So when you drop the diamond and it's within 2 blocks of you, it's going to add wave to the player. That's going to give you that tag. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as the player with the new tag wave, and we're going to kill the diamond that we dropped. Chain conditional, always active. For this one, XP minus 10L at a tag equals wave. So here, the player with the wave tag, the tag wave, either way you want to say it, will lose 10 levels. That's the cost for this move. And then here, chain conditional, always active. Because we've now paid the XP, we're going to, like with the other one, summon in an armor stand. So we're going to execute as us with the new tag at our location. Unless there's an entity named Wave already within 120 blocks, I will run summon armor stand, wave, caret, -2. One thing I want to say right now is I'm going to back right out of this level so I can show you. In your game settings, if you want to have the same range as me, you're going to want to adjust, and I believe it's under the advanced settings here, you're going to want to adjust, yes, your simulation distance. For many of you, it's going to start off at 4 chunks. If your device can handle it, I'm running at 8 chunks. This means that entities can still be simulated at a range of 128 blocks away. Otherwise, the max range you want to do on any of these abilities is 64, because that's the max distance the game is going to simulate them natively. So I adjust mine to 8 chunks. It gives me a bigger range so that my Kamehameha wave can reach 120 blocks. Sometimes that is still cut short by how chunks are loaded in this game, but it works a lot better if you have the simulation distance turned up. So yeah, as long as there's no armor stand within 120 blocks, it's going to summon the armor stand named Wave, and again, it's going to put that right behind you. Now that it's summoned in, chain, unconditional, always active. There's going to be no delay. We're going to execute as the new armor stand at its location, rotated as our, that's us with the tag Wave, camera view. So now we're going to run teleport, caret, 3, facing caret, 6. So it's going to teleport forward, again, based on our camera view. Chains to that, conditional, always active. We're going to make sure that armor stand named Wave is invisible. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute at its position, particle. We're going to do the Minecraft Sonic Explosion, ~1. That's the really cool Kamehameha looking particle effect that we do there. That's just the Warden Sonic Boom ability. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as the armor stand at its location, and we're going to run damage. Any entity that's not us with the Wave tag, that's not an XP orb, that's not an item, that's not named Wave, so it's not going to hurt itself, within 4 blocks, is going to take 20 damage. So the Kamehameha would kill a normal player with no buffs. It's an entity attack, and again, it's going to be based on the closest player with the Wave tag, so they'll know it was you. And then here, chain, unconditional, always active. What we're going to do is we're going to execute as the armor stand, as long as it's at least 30 blocks away from here, at its location. As long as the player with the tag Wave is at least 5 blocks away, it's going to do a fill command. So it's going to make sure it's not near the command blocks, and it's not near the player. And then it'll start destroying. So fill, ~3, ~3, ~3, till the -3, till the -3, till the -3, a replace. So this is going to be a 7x7 area around the armor stand as it shoots forward. Again, not near the command blocks, not near the player. And then moving on down here, repeating, always active. No delay on that one. We're going to execute as the player with the Wave tag at its location. If the armor stand gets more than 120 blocks away, we're going to kill it. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're then going to take the Wave tag away from the player who has the Wave tag. And then repeating, always active. What we're going to do is we're going to execute as the armor stand named Wave. We're going to run play sound, mob.warden.sonicboom, and that's going to be the ability sound for the Kamehameha. And then here, repeating, always active. We're going to execute as the player who's at least level 20 that no longer has the diamond. As long as the armor stand Wave is gone, it's not within 90 blocks, it'll make sure that you have the tag Wave removed, just to make sure you get the ability back again, as long as you have enough experience. And for this one, honestly, I think we should set that to be LM50. And then moving on down here, repeating, always active. We're going to execute as the armor stand named Wave at its location, unless the entity that's the player with the tag Wave run TP ~3 facing ~6. Now this is just another failsafe, because sometimes when the armor stand enters into a new chunk, it doesn't recognize that we with the Wave tag still exist. This just makes sure that it continues teleporting forward facing in the same direction. At level 74, you ascend the Super Saiyan transformation and become a Super Saiyan 2. You'll see now that you gain even more health. You get stronger versions of the status effects that you already have, plus now you can see you get regeneration as well as saturation. You also get a third ability. the instant transmission. Instant transmission lets you teleport directly behind your opponent and get the upper hand on them. You'll also notice that some blue has been added to your Super Saiyan aura. This is to help simulate the light blue lightning sparks of the Super Saiyan 2 form and differentiate you from the lesser Super Saiyan transformation. Now let's take a look at that. We're going to start off with a repeating always active command block, and we're going to execute as any player above 75 but below 99. Now they'll get strength 4. Chain conditional always active. We're going to execute again as a player above 75, below 99. Resistance 3. Same setup. Now that'll be speed 3. I do also want to point out that this time the speed effect is false. This is going to be the blue particles that you see in the aura. And then here, same setup. This one is going to be jump boost 1. Chain conditional always active. This one is going to be regeneration 2. Help you refill all your extra hearts. And then this one is unconditional. We're going to do saturation 1-1. Want to make sure that your hunger is always being filled. Just want to point out that this one is unconditional. It's going to be a change from the rest of those. And then here, back to conditional. Health boost 9, which means you now have 2 extra rows of hearts. And then here, repeating, unconditional, always active. The experience of 1, and this time with no delay in ticks. So you're going to get about 20 experience per second if you're over level 75. This is because at the higher levels, your experience required to grow into new levels becomes more and more. And we want to make sure that we are keeping the experience growth rate good enough to work for the higher level transformations. So now we're going to look at instant transmission. Repeating, always active. We're going to do replace item for any player that is at least level 75 that doesn't have the tag instant. Slot.hotbar 8, keep gold nugget, so that's going to be the last slot in your hotbar now. And then just like the other ones, unconditional chain command block here. If you're over 75 and you're holding the gold nugget in your main hand, it's going to put instant transmission in your action bar. This time I did the section symbol followed by G. That gets you that nice gold color. And then here, repeating, always active, no delay. We're going to execute as the player at least level 75 at their location. If the entity, gold nugget within 2 blocks, we're going to then give us the instant tag. And then just like with the other ones, chain conditional always active, we're then going to kill that gold nugget that's within 3 blocks of the player with the new tag. Here, chain conditional always active. The cost for this is going to be 5 levels for the player with the instant tag. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain conditional always active. We're going to execute as the player with the instant tag at their location, positioned about 7 blocks in front of them. And we're going to run tag any entity within 7 blocks of that position, and we're only going to do 1. Let's make sure they're not an item, make sure they're not an XP orb, make sure they don't have the instant tag, make sure their name is not gold nugget. It should be erased at this point, but we just want to make sure. And then we're going to add target. That is going to be someone standing out in front of you. Usually C=1 will prioritize the entities that are closer to you. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're going to execute as the entity that we just gave the target tag at the location, and we're going to run teleport. We're going to teleport us, caret 1, caret -3, facing at S. So it's going to put us directly behind them, 3 blocks, facing them. And then here, chain conditional always active. We're going to remove the target tag from the entity that we just teleported to. And then here, we're going to remove the instant tag from us. And that is going to be you teleporting directly behind the entity that's squaring up to you. It's a really useful combat version of the instant transmission technique. At level 100, you begin to trespass into the domain of the gods, becoming a Super Saiyan God. Right away, you're going to notice that you get another row of hearts. You now have 4 rows of hearts. You're going to get even stronger status effects of the ones that you already have, Your aura is now amazing. It looks just like the aura when Goku becomes a Super Saiyan God fighting Beerus. Alright, becoming a Super Saiyan God, we have a repeating, always active command block, no delay. We're going to execute as players above level 100 but below level 199. They're going to get Strength 5, which means a dramatic increase in strength compared to the standard player now. Chain conditional, always active. We're going to execute as players above 100, below 199, resistance 4, which at this point pretty much means that 80% of the damage that's done to them is going to be negated because of their defense. Here, chain conditional, always active. Same setup, speed 4. And you'll notice that all of these are going to be true now. We're no longer relying on status effect particles. We are using a different particle. Chain conditional, always active. Same setup. Jump boost 2. This one here. Regeneration 3. This one is unconditional. Again, that's going to be the saturation command. We just want to make sure that that one is running constantly regardless of the other commands. And then here, chain conditional, always active. We're going to do the same setup, health boost 14. You'll notice that I've gone 4, then 9, then 14. That's how it works to get an even health bar. You always want to start at 4 and then increase by 5 per health bar. And then here, repeating, always active. I'm going to execute as that same player, above 100, below 199. This time, at the location, we're going to run particle. It's Minecraft, trial, spawner, detection, tilde negative 0.5, tilde negative 0.5. Those are just to offset it so that they're centered on you. And that is the amazing Super Saiyan God aura that you see. And then here, chain conditional, always active. Another increase of XP1 at A this time, as long as they're at least level 100. And again, no delay on this one. If you are one of the few who can persevere and reach new heights, like level 200, that's when you unlock Super Saiyan Blue, the ascended version of Super Saiyan God. The new particle effects are even cooler than what you get at Super Saiyan God, and now your status effects make you stand out as a god among mortals. Starting off here, I have a repeating, always active command block, no delay. We're going to execute as a player who's at least level 200, and this time they will have Strength 6. Change to that, conditional, always active. Resistance 4, we're going to keep it the same level because if we increase to the next one, you, in theory, should not take any more damage at all. We still want damage to be possible, it's just going to remain at 80% defense. And then here, chain conditional, always active, speed 5. Same setup here, jump boost 2. Same setup, regeneration 5. You'll see now we've ticked up 2 levels of regeneration. And this makes a big difference since we're not upgrading our resistance. Our regeneration now heals damage so fast, it's hard for you to take permanent damage. And then again, unconditional, we're going to do saturation, just to make sure that your hunger stand full. Keeps your regeneration abilities working right. And then conditional to that, health boost 1, 14, true. So again, we're going to stay with the same level of health and defense, but your regeneration rate is going to increase dramatically. And now here, repeating, unconditional, always active. At players higher than level 200, we're going to run the particle, Minecraft, trial spawner, detection, ominous, tilde negative 0.5, tilde negative 0.5. That's the cool Super Saiyan Blue aura that I have on me right now. And then down the line here, I have a couple more command blocks. Repeating, always active. And what we're going to do here is we're going to execute at a player who's at least level 50. We're going to run play sound, conduit, ambient, for any players within 20 blocks at the position tilde, and then doing 0.2 to make it quieter, and then 2 to raise the pitch up slightly. This is going to be part of your energy aura sounds for everybody above level 50. And then here, same setup, this time with an 11 tick delay. We're going to execute again at anybody who's at least 50. We're going to run the play sound random fizz. Any player within 20 blocks, tilde, 0.2 to make it quieter. And that is going to be the sound that you've probably been hearing since I turned Super Saiyan. That is your energy pulsing aura sound. And then the last thing we have for our build here, this is going to be the visuals that pop up on your screen every time you turn into the next level. So here, repeating, always active. We're going to execute as any player at least level 20. And we're going to say, without the awakened tag, sorry. And then we're going to do the title, and an actual title, not the action bar title. And we're going to say, you have awakened. Then immediately after that, chain conditional always active. We're going to execute as any player at least level 20 who doesn't have the tag awakened. And we're going to give them the tag awakened. And then unconditional attached to that. If a player drops below level 20 and they have the awakened tag, they will lose that tag. And then we're going to do the same thing for Super Saiyan. So, repeating, always active. Any player that's above 50 that doesn't have the tag SSJ, we're going to run that title Super Saiyan. And again, I'm doing the section symbol there. And then after that, chain conditional, always active. We're then going to make sure that if they don't have the SSJ tag and they're over 50, that they get the SSJ tag. And then here, unconditional, always active. If you drop below 50, so if you're 49 or lower and you have the tag SSJ, you're going to lose that tag. And then we have a new repeating, always active command block here. If you're above 75 and you don't have SSJ2 as a tag, it's going to run the title saying Super Saiyan 2. Same setup. We're going to do, for players above 75 that don't have that tag, we're now going to give them that tag. And then chain unconditional, always active. If you fall below 75, so if you're 74 or lower and you have that tag, it's going to remove it. We're going to do the same thing for Super Saiyan God. So if you're above 100 and you don't have the tag SSG, it's going to say Super Saiyan God on the screen. We will then make sure that we give you the Super Saiyan God tag if you don't have it. And then if you drop to 99 or below, so below level 100, we then remove that tag from you. And then we have the last one here. Repeating, always active. If you're above 200 and you don't have SSB as a tag, we'll run Super Saiyan Blue. And then we'll make sure that you have the tag Super Saiyan Blue. And then if you drop to 199 or lower, we'll make sure to remove the tag. Another thing to make sure is that here at your command blocks, you're setting up a ticking area. What you'll do is in the chat, type ticking area, add, circle, tilde, 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 3, and then you can do DBZ. Mine already exists with that name, but it'll let you know that you created a ticking area. This means that your command blocks will stay running if you leave the area. Otherwise, you're going to lose this stuff once you leave the chunk that it's in. Now that you have an awesome DBZ progression system in your Minecraft, would you like to make the mobs progress with you? That's right, you can make the mobs, your enemies, grow stronger as you grow stronger. And the system adapts to multiple players so you can still do it with your friends. Check that video out right here. This is BrownCoat67, I'll catch you next time.